What was the incident in your high school? When I was in high school, our Hicktown school had a gang called the Cobras who would spray paint cobras on school property, write it on desks, in the bathrooms, basically everywhere. It was dumb and many of the students had a good idea who was a part of this gang, but the teachers didn't. The principal would call down groups for photos in the yearbook. Siblings, sports teams, drama club, etc. on overhead announcements. And one day they called down the Cobras for a school photo for the yearbook. To try and figure out who they were, they caught almost half the students who were defacing school property because they showed up for the group photo. Edit. No, they didn't get a photo in the yearbook. Edit 2. Multiple people have shown up from my high school. Yes, our mascot was the Huskies. Brilliant on the principal's part. How stupid do you have to be to walk into your own arrest? One of the students ditched high school one day and rode his dirt bike really fast in front of the school, popping a wheelie while the school was still in session. He wiped out and slid and hit his head on a light pole and died right in front of the school across the street. Really sad and super crazy. Edit. This was in Bakersfield, California. It's crazy how many other places this has happened. Also, no helmet was involved that I'm aware of. A few people have mentioned the light pole. It can also be called a lamp post or light pole. Sheesh. The pole received all kinds of attention after. People writing notes on it, people leaving flowers and lighters and so on. It was really weird. I wouldn't want to be remembered by what killed me. But I think a lot of students didn't have anywhere else to mourn. Hi monsieur. Damn, that came out of nowhere. Just like that pole. Principal found weed in the boys' bathroom. Monsieur called an assembly and told us we had to vote for who we think it was. I think the principal's son got like 98% of the votes. Suddenly the voting system wasn't valid. We didn't even coordinate it. Everyone had the same idea at once and it was glorious. I love democracy. Principal. Asterisk. In order to ensure our security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the First Galactic Empire. For a safe and secure society. Asterisk. Senior year we received our yearbooks the week of graduation and our surprise the full page action shot for men's soccer showcased our player jumping up and lifting one leg to trap and control the ball. Unfortunately, he forgot to wear underwear that game and the tip of his wiener was fully visible sticking out of the bottom of his shorts. Our school had over 4,000 students and we were required to bring our yearbook into security to have the dick sharpied over. We would not be able to walk at graduation. The image of school admins having to sharpie in the same penis 4,000 times is gold. Today, your job is to color in all the bell ends. Lose graduation for not having dick sharpied over in the yearbook. Edit. I had less than 100 karma before this comment. There had been rumors since my freshman year about the assistant principal taking a certain special interest in a few of the girls. Almost everyone wrote it off as high school kids starting stupid rumors. Until my senior year, when 4 police officers came in after school and walked them out in cuffs in front of a few hundred students watching a basketball game against another school. He was fucking one of the girls in my grade and selling her oxycodone in the hallways. Got 10 years. My photography teacher fell in love with me at first sight when I was 13. He was the only adult I trusted because my family was abusive. More or less as badly as you think. I talked to him on the phone every night and he was maybe the person I trusted most outside my siblings. My parents were sort of setting me up with him when I was 15. As soon as I reached the age of consent where we lived well, that went great. After a while of suicidal depression I reported him to the school. He got fired but suffered no other repercussions. He was the most popular teacher in the school and almost all of my friends turned on me along with the rest of the students. Some wanted to contact me later and apologize but I refused to talk to any of them. Monsieur, I hated Senior year. Teenagers must be protected from themselves. God damn it. 3 years ago, in my sophomore year, the middle school counselor revealed he was in love with me. In my 16 to 17-year-old mind, thought it was okay. He invited me multiple times to his house to smoke good weed and watch movies. I always backed out because something didn't feel quite right. That's when an adult should have protected me. It got to the point he sent me nudes and shit. To this day, never reported him, but I wonder if I'm putting other teenagers at risk when he is still a school counselor. Lol. During a basketball game, damn, we were all called to an emergency assembly and told a student had died. Her friends were distraught and even the people who didn't know her went quiet. I think I remember a group of students putting together a type of memorial card. The whole morning was morbid, until the dead girl arrived at school and didn't know what was going on. How do you mess up that bad? Did they ever give any explanation as to what happened? No. It was swept under the rug pretty quick. I think they acknowledged they were wrong once but then just went silent about it. During my sophomore year of high school, I was on spring break with my family and we went out of state to a condo for the week. Great trip. I recommend Virginia to anyone looking for a scenic getaway. When we got back from that vacation and I went to school the next Monday, everyone was staring at me like they saw a ghost. I was an introvert in a public school of about 1,200 kids, so it was unnerving. I had girls and guys running up and hugging me, saying they were so glad I was okay. Many of them I didn't really talk to. I was so confused. Come to find out, in the next town over there was a kid who was struck by a car and killed while we were gone on spring break. His name was identical to mine, except for one letter in his last name. So everyone who saw it naturally assumed they spelled the name wrong because that spelling was a very common mistake with my name. I wouldn't call it the incident for my school, but that day was very memorable and I had to share. When I saw your similar story, we had a teacher who was super nice. She was out for 3 days and we didn't question it much until she wasn't there again for the next week. Turns out her husband murdered her quite brutally. Was so quiet the next few months for that class we didn't really know how to process it. He's in prison and kids with the grandparents last I read. Quite sad. Greater than he's in prison and kid with the grandparents last I read. I read this as he's in prison with the kids and the grandparents and I was like, damn, they just put the whole family away. Being thorough. My middle school gym teacher, whose name was ironically Mr. Dick, was busted for soliciting sex from a teen. In middle school, my English teacher's name was Mr. Dickerson and I was talking to an old classmate about how weird he was to me and she pointed out that everyone in that class knew he was grooming me, and it only validated her point when I told her about how he would show up to birthdays with presents for me. OMG. Hi Taylor. I knew this was you from the story and then read the username. LMAOOOOO. Hi. IDK you who you are, but I'm glad you found me. Edit. Hi, love you. That's Mr. Dickerson. 2 kids got caught fucking in the ceiling. Like they took panels off the ceiling, climbed into the small space there, and fucked. Imagine you in the middle of Math 9 and you hear moaning in the ceiling. Buzzer goes, an entire class has a hard time standing up. Everybody gangsta until the ceiling starts saying to fuck them harder. Edit. I'm surprised how much this blew up. A guy went into the locker room during gym class and shit into another guy's backpack. Edit. Since so many people asked. This happened in a German school in 2014 or 2015. The guy didn't face any consequences, although almost everyone knew who did it. Our principal pretty much was like, yeah, let's not talk about this. The story also spread like a wildfire in our town and I had friends from different schools text me about it before I even came home that day. That happened at my school, too. The cops came and claimed they were going to DNA test everyone. They even did a fake mouth swab on everyone. I knew it was bullshit when they just put all the mouth swabs in the same plastic bag and called them out on it. which got me in trouble, but kept that glorious bastard who pinched the loaf from admitting it to the cops. They were all like, "We're gonna DNA test that log, and whoever it comes back to is gonna have to pay the cost of all the DNA tests, and we're gonna throw the damned book at Hi Monsieur." The guy whose bag was shat in was a cop's kid. Well, I'm sure at the time he thought, "OMG. This is so awesome, I'm finally gonna get that bastard." It didn't work out so well for Hi Monsieur. He's now a cop and torments the hell out of people, going 26 in a 25. Short fella, too. I was a teacher, and a very good kid just got pushed to his limit by a bully teacher. Had been bullied by this guy for a couple of years. Never did find out what was up with that. So bully teacher says something to the kid. He runs out to his car, grabs a crowbar and comes in smashing all the glass he encountered. It was safety glass, but lots of shards anyway. Tries to go after the teacher to kill Hi Monsieur. He got trapped in the library. The classroom was located in a small classroom off the library, and I was right next door, keeping kids in their seats and unable to go to the bathroom for about 90 minutes. Cops began arriving from all directions since we were right off two state highways. State cops, canine cops, etc. Kid destroyed all the beautiful 1940s oak shelving, teacher's desk, anything that would break. His mom shows up and disarms Hi Monsieur. Kid gets slammed on a stretcher and hauled off to the nearby AFB, where his dad worked. Not sure exactly what all happened there, but he got a lifetime ban from being at the high school, and a serious restraining order from ever contacting or being near the bully teacher. I liked the kid, never had once tiny bit of trouble with Hi Monsieur. Saw him a couple of months later and asked him to please tell me if he was ever mad at me. He laughed. Kid was diagnosed with intermittent explosive disorder. Went on to be a good adult. He just kind of lost it that day. Edit. Thank you, kind stranger, for the silver. I did not know that the kid was being bullied until the shit hit the fan. Then kids told me the whole story. There was nothing I could do except offer words of support to his girlfriend and then be nice to him when I saw him again. As a victim of lifetime bullying, not school but family, I know the damage it can cause. As far as bullies go, I called them out in my classroom whenever I knew what was going on. But if you know anything about bullies, they tend to do these things at times, places that teachers don't see. We can't stop what we don't witness. Sadly, most victims do not report until the situation has reached critical mass. It's one thing to be bullied by other kids, but by an adult in a position like that is devastating. Glad he's doing good now. Exactly. I had a teacher bully me for the entirety of 4th grade. When I became a teacher, I decided to be the opposite of that bitch. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.